Hey guys, good morning. This is Cynthia with the Pixie Garden, and I thought I would give everybody a tour of our garden and how it's going. And we haven't done anything for the channel in about 2 years, so I figured this would be a good time to give a little update and show you all what we've got going on. Before I get started, I've got to do a little bit of watering here. I've got brand new seeds coming up, and I just thought I just want to do an update and talk a little bit about what is going on in the world, because it's very interesting to say the least. Got some green onions coming up here, little bunching onions, and some dill in the back. I just love coming out here in the morning and just spending a little time with the Father, spending a little time in nature, and just, it's so relaxing. It really is. There's nothing like it. Alright, let's get this little quick update on the road here. So our vegetable garden, we have some in the backyard as well, but the main one we have is out here in the front yard in what used to be our flower beds. And we just kind of decided a couple of years ago, when things got weird, maybe we should grow a little bit more food and hopefully inspire other people to do the same. And if we're, doing everything in the backyard, no one's going to see it. It's not really going to inspire anybody. So we planted out a bunch of beds and a bunch of vegetables, and it turned out really great. We're growing all kinds of stuff here and getting ready to grow even more. In this first garden cart, we've got about 16 French green bean plants, and they're doing pretty good up here. They don't love to be too hot, so we have installed shade cloth up in front of everything, so that kind of protects them. And then in the second one, we have 16 jade green bean plants. They're really doing well. And then in the third, we have a tricolor mix, which will have some purple, yellow, and green. And they're really happy. In fact, they're taller than the other plants. So this is an experiment I'm doing. I just want to see which of these three does better in zone 7B, and which one tastes better, which one produces first, that kind of thing. And so all in all, there's 48 plants here in about a 12-foot space. So that's pretty good. I mean, you'll get a lot of food for that. And it's a really tiny little space, not taking up much room. So there is that. Okay, here are some of the fall starts that I've got, because even though we're in July, that comes up really quickly. So I've got 8. This is Arctic tomatoes from M.I. Gardener. And apparently these are pretty cold hardy in this climate. The 8 that looks like there's nothing in them. Oh, we've got our first germination sprout. Look at that. Both of them came up. These are celery. That's exciting. Those took like 2 to 3 weeks to germinate, so I'm happy about that. In the end, we have cherry seeds. And this is an experiment. My daughters always ask if they can plant seeds from fruit that we get. And I tell them they take a long time. And so I finally said, you know what? Let's show them how long it takes so they can understand and appreciate just how long it does take to grow a fruit tree and to grow fruit. And they came from a farmer's market, so they should be fine. And then I did a couple of propagation of basil. And I just realized I gotta get these, you gotta keep them wet until they start growing new leaves. You gotta really keep them wet. So I'm just getting everything nice and moist for the day, because it'll be 100 degrees here. Heat index 110 or so. Feels like 1,000. Feels like we're on the surface of Mercury. I was realizing it might look like I'm watering nothing, but I'll show you. Back here is dill, and just like the celery, boy, it took a while to sprout. There's 2 in that pocket that have come up, 2 in this, I don't know if you can see it, they are little, and then 2 over here. I don't know if the 3rd pocket's gonna work out. Can't see anything in there, but we will keep watching, keep waiting. It's a very slow process. Not everything is slow to grow from seed. These are bush cucumbers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just planted these like 2 weeks ago, and they're loving this. Although I did put in some shade cloth here. To probably mention if you can see them, there's 2 long beds up along the house there. That is pretty much bush tomatoes and peppers, but again, so much shade cloth required because we have been unbelievably hot here. So here's a view from kind of looking back. You can see everything we've got growing here. I thought I'd zoom out and get a better picture of it. So those are the 2 long beds with peppers, shade cloth, and then there's the other 2 long beds. And we have a little walkway that goes through all this, all the way around for harvesting purposes and just getting up in there. But it's been really fun having a garden in our front yard. It's really, really fun to come out here and just harvest right out of the front yard. Okay, here's some little potted area. This is a shishito or shishito pepper. Just some flowers. And this has peppers on it despite, I don't know if you can see any of them. You can see some peppers. Then we've got another bush tomato. Another indeterminate tomato that's gone completely crazy. Put out hundreds of tomatoes and is going to be coming out very soon because it is struggling. It's in rough shape. And over here on the side of the house, we have 1 Juliet tomato plant. And I cannot tell you how much that I encourage you to grow Juliet grape tomatoes. I don't know what it is, but man, they go crazy and they produce hundreds and hundreds of little sweet cherry tomatoes. I love them, and they do really well. Even in a place like where I live, where it's hot and humid and most tomatoes give up by now, or they're thinking about giving up. So if you can get a hold of a Juliet or Juliet seeds, you still have time to actually get them started if you live in a long enough growing climate. Up north, you could grow these in a greenhouse or something in the next few months. When it starts to cool down, you could get this going. But I highly recommend it. So this is a massive rosemary plant that's been here for a long time, and a mystery vine that was not planted by me. Some poor phlox, which have, well, they might make it still. We've got another bush tomato plant, which is doing great. Our lantanas are needing to be watered very badly. Here we've got 4 bush cucumbers, which are all coming in strong. And I've put some little cloches on top to protect them from, animals or whatever. We have an okra plant back here. Man, it is tiny. Another bush tomato. This is a currant tomato plant. I just planted this about 2 weeks ago, so it's small, but it's doing it. And then over here, I've got 3 French melons known as the Charente. These are the melons that they use to make meaningful beauty products. So I thought we'd give it a try and see, rather than use the product, just eat the melons instead. Here's the out of control tomato bush, which, again, I don't recommend growing indeterminate tomatoes in a raised bed or whatever, because we didn't know that's what it was and we didn't stake it up. But I will say, it is loaded. It is absolutely loaded, even after 100 tomatoes have been pulled from this thing, and still putting on more. I mean, we pull 50 or 60 every 2 days, and we're like, okay, that's it. And then it comes back. It is planted with a thick border of St. John's wort, which I can't tell if it's about to flower or not. It actually might be. When it finally starts to get to flower, you can actually use that for medicine. Like an herbal medicine, it's pretty strong. And deer hate it, so it kind of deters them from coming up in the front yard or anything. I don't know if it deters rabbits or anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to be doing a couple of shorter videos, a little tutorial on how to propagate basil, because we have a lot of basil, and we have made pesto a couple times, and it is so good. You even just use it as instead of like a pasta sauce, you just put that in there, and it's so good. So I'll probably do that, and I might also videotape when we clear these tomato beds so you guys can see. We'll harvest the tomatoes, clear those bushes out, and replant those beds. So that'll be interesting. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Don't let the world get you down. God's in control, and God wins.